Time to get real. I want to see some crazy whiz-biz.
What's the magic made out of, Ding Dong?
I want to see some of that whiz-biz.
This castle is in unacceptable condition! Unacceptable! Mathematical! Bacon pancake!
Welcome back to WizBiz with Alex and Eric. It's a podcast about Adventure Time, which is a cartoon, and we are grown-ups. My name is Eric.
And I am Alex.
And in this episode, we will be discussing Season 2, Episodes 7 and 8, Power Animal and Crystals Have Power. They are two powerful episodes. Wouldn't you say, Alex?
I wouldn't. I think your ideas are stupid.
Aww.
No, I would say that. And here's an interesting thing. So our show is Adventure Time through the guise of two people into the occult world, the pagan things, heathenry as a whole. Now I like a crystal. I have a bunch of crystals, but it's not my main focus in the world of the occult. I got some amethyst on the table right there. I got some crystal Merkabahs over on the other table, but I'm not a crystal guy. I don't have like crystal layouts. I don't have like a crystal grid. Which I feel like maybe if we were better at this show and I had a third microphone, we could have gotten one of our friends that's like super into crystals just to talk about that one episode.
Here's the thing. I think that for real occultists, I think that frequently we recognize that there's a bit of an ethical problem with crystals in general, just because of the way that most crystals come about. You know, they're side effects of like strip mining.
Yeah. And
lots of like earth destroying mining operations. And that in itself makes them kind of yucky. I think that it's, you know, if you are a practitioner, a witch or an occultist or a magician or whatever who enjoys using rocks, you should find some local stuff.
Yes.
Instead of getting weird crystals from some, you know, ecology destroying strip mine in sub-Saharan Africa, get something local. Like, you know, we're in Oregon. We've got, all sorts of stuff here like thunder eggs and sunstones and obsidian.
And amethyst. I got that locally.
And amnesty-thists and all sorts of stuff.
You get these amnesty fists.
Amnesty fists. But also, you know, like beach rocks, you know, agates and things like that. Like we have so many things that you can use as a special rock that can come here to you locally and doesn't necessarily get associated with horrible corporations with shitty environmental practices. Is this
exactly? So just pick up your cell phone that's made with literally child slave labor. Open up Google Maps and find yourself a local quarry.
Look, we all have plenty of crystals in our cell phones and our LEDs and all that kind of stuff. Our magic can use local rocks.
No, I think most of the magic comes from child tears. I'm from the School of Magic from Indiana Jones at the Temple of Doom. I'm like a big Kali Ma guy. Like it's only if child labor is involved. Congratulations to that kid though. He just won the Oscar.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Hey, all right. So let's leave this crystal talk behind, and why don't we ascend to the roof party?
Yeah. Before we do that though, I just want to one request of you.
Yes.
Can you give the audience a call to action? And tell them where they can find us on the internet?
Oh, yeah. We are at whizbizpodcast.com. That's where you can find all of our stuff. And we are also on pretty much every social media platform at whizbizpodcast. And my favorite call to action, the one that I would encourage everybody to do, is to tell a friend about this podcast. You know, tell them about Adventure Time. And then you're like, if you think this children's cartoon is really stupid, you should listen to these dudes discuss it on the internet because they're even stupider.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's a good call to action. Now, as you were saying, let us ascend to the roof and stare out into the middle distance and say, what is my power animal?
You know, this episode, one of the things that I love about this episode is that there's a lot of partying in it. You know,
there is a fair amount of partying.
We don't have just the roof party, but we have Jake basically partying his way through the whole adventure.
Yes.
Like he in his quest to save Finn, like he leaves the treehouse, he runs into a dancing bug and he dances a bunch of bugs and they start partying. And the music that the dancing bug has, like that deep bass,
Yeah.
is friggin' amazing. I should probably mention that I was watching this episode with my studio monitor speakers, so the bass just sounds really, really good and crisp and stuff, but it sounded so good. I loved the party bug music. And then there's
You want to spit a few bars to it?
no,
Okay.
because I think I would probably blow out your microphone or get spit everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And also,
You are basically the rap
I know
god.
that we already agreed that there would be no 80s rap in this episode.
Yeah, I just realized we didn't agree to that. No, that
Maybe
would-
we should agree that there'll be no 80s beatboxing.
Audience at home, you should know that before we started recording, we were talking about Eric doing 80s beatboxing. I forgot that actually isn't in the episode. So now you have that explanation. Yeah, Jake is a party animal, a party god, and very much written as ADHD in this episode, which is
Yeah.
something that I think repeats over the course of the show, but has more. It seems like more of a learning tool in later episodes. This is the first one. It seems like something that's actually like taking away from his quality of Jakedom.
Right.
Where later ones, it seems like, I'm just not going to bother because Finn's got this.
Yeah.
This is like literally, it's almost like that dream where you're trying to run and you're like in quicksand or something, where
Mm-hmm.
Jake just keeps trying to get to Finn, but he gets distracted by a bug and it's just like, it's not working. But
And they're nymphs.
they're nymphs. There's water nymphs, which are the
And-
best kind of nymphs.
And there's BMO. And
Yeah,
BMO
I was about
actually,
to bring up BMO.
Yeah.
BMO dancing his little butt off.
BMO, who has not yet reappeared in the Dungeon Studio. Wait, what do we call this studio?
Dungeon Studio's fine. It used to
Okay.
be the Echo Chamber. That's right, the room with the creepy door on the Alex cast.
Ooh, the room with the creepy door.
Yeah.
Yeah, so BMO still has not returned to the room with the creepy door.
Yeah, and we've at least I've searched my apartment quite a bit, and BMO does seem to be completely gone. I don't understand it. I've checked the one other person that's been down here, and she did not take it. There was like a 0.001% chance that
Did
she would have.
you ask the right questions? Do we need to perhaps...
Oh, I literally put the screws to her. Like it was that wasn't a sex joke. Like, I mean, I put her in a chair and started putting screws into her very flesh. And I'm like, where the fuck is BMO?
And
Where is my BMO?
She still didn't give up the answer.
I mean, by the end, she was admitting that she stole it, but like, I'm pretty sure it's just because of the horrible, horrible torture.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because you know that thing with torture where like
You get wrong answer. You get false
You can
confessions
feel
a
it, too,
lot.
like-
you know when it's happening.
you're like
yeah.
3-4 days into it, they're like, "Oh my god, please, I'll tell
I
you
don't even
anything."
have any fingernails left.
Yeah,
Wah,
wait,
wah,
oh, there's
wah,
bamboo
wah.
under my feet. Yeah, exactly. just whiny shit. And so they're like, "Oh, you're fine. I stole your fucking BMO. I don't even know what that is." I'm like, "All right, you know what? I don't believe you, but I believe your pain." And then I gave her a rag. It said, "Hey, wash your face off."
And a lollipop, of course.
Yeah.
You always have to...
Yeah. Hit the bricks, kid. I gotta find my $10 toy I bought on Amazon.
Yeah, so BMO is still missing. But BMO was great in this episode. BMO danced a little bit, and there's this adorable scene where Jake and BMO are sitting on the front steps of the treehouse, and Jake is eating a sandwich and yelling Finn's name, and BMO's just sitting there kicking his little legs
Yeah.
and staring off into the distance. It was very BMO. So that made me really happy.
It would have made me happy, but it made me sad because my sweet, sweet boy BMO is gone, and I don't know what to do.
I don't
Audience
either.
at home, if anybody has
An extra BMO?
like a cool BMO thing you can send me, that'd be great. I'm not asking you, like, don't buy me nothing, but like if you're like, oh shit, I've got this thing from like back when it was appropriate for me to have Adventure Time stuff, I'll send it to this adult that I listen to. Hit me up. Yes. So they have during the roof party, which opens this episode before Finn goes missing, we see a random evil guy doing evil.
Oh, we don't know that
laughing.
he's evil.
No, evil laughs.
He's just a very large man with a red pointy hat.
And he has sinister laughing.
He does have sort of sinister laughing.
Yes, and I think sinister laughing is key. PB is in this episode, Princess Bubblegum, which we're lamenting her non-existence in season 2 thus far.
Well, we had PB and Marceline were in this episode. This
Yes.
is actually the first episode that both of them appear together.
Ooh, sparks were a-flying.
But there were no sparks of flying. I don't think they were even on the screen at the same time.
Yeah, there was, however, a celestial alignment that we're watching.
Which was not a celestial alignment. That was like the Northern Lights.
Yeah, but also Andor stole that wholeheartedly. Stole the whole thing. There's an episode of Andor where something like that happened.
Oh, right.
Yeah. There's also a running joke, which we've talked about on the show, quite a bit how this is a terrible, terrible show for children to watch and gives you really bad ideas. This episode more than once puts the idea into children's head that you should shove your ice cream cone into a plugged-in toaster.
I love that. I love how it just keeps happening throughout the episode where it cuts to Jake and he's putting an ice cream cone in a toaster and pushing the button, and I'm just like, oh god.
So when we were young men, many years ago for you, a couple months ago for me, there was a very popular show called The Beavis and the Butt-Head. It was on
Oh
MTV.
yes, I remember that.
And there was this controversy because one of them, I was joking about not remembering the names, but I think Beavis was like obsessed with fire.
Mm-hmm.
And some kid burned his house down or something like that, or killed his sister with fire, or some horrible tragedy, but it was 40 years ago, who cares? And they were like, blame it on Beavis and Butthead. And it was like this whole rigmarole, like, dangerous cartoons or whatever. Imagine if some kid shoved a fucking, a SpongeBob popsicle into a toaster and just got fried because of an Adventure Time episode.
Well, the thing is, he probably wouldn't get fried because most home appliances these days have lots of protective circuits and, ground protection faults and things that... And also, I mean, have you seen toasters? Like, your shitty toaster nowadays, it can barely handle stress. It would just burn out. Something would just give away in there. I don't think there would be any danger of fire or electrocution.
All right, hold on. I just have to check off something on my list here. Bathtub toaster. Okay, so I'm down to high building and gun. All right, moving on. I'm not even telling you what that list is about.
Oh, right. That's not a call for help. Don't worry, audience. I'll have a long talk with Alex afterwards.
You won't. Yeah. All right. So you make a left, and that's Big Pink, and then you walk up to the top floor. Make sure to try to land in a superhero pose. I'm going to be down here filming. The party ends, and yeah, I'm just going to be a little gross here. Jake wakes himself up by
punching himself in the face with his stomach.
Yeah, but where that hand came out of, he kind of punched
think...
himself in the face with his dick.
No, it was his stomach.
I know.
His stomach was hungry.
He even says that, but still... That was...
You think that was just a big old dick punch?
I think if I were a little kid, that's definitely the way I would read it. And as a 42-year-old man, that's the way I was reading it. I know he says his stomach, but let's face it. Cartoonists are immature. They're essentially me, but with talent.
It's
too hard to imagine.
It's too hard to imagine. You're right. So Jake wakes himself up by punching himself in the face with his own.
Yeah. And we also get a fun Jake and BMO singing together moment.
Yeah, which was amazing. I loved that. I think both of these episodes actually had pretty good music. I was impressed with or at least they had.
I don't remember the music in the Crystal one, but we'll get to it in the next episode. So it turns out that Finn has been kidnapped.
In the middle of the night.
But let's underline a word here. Kidnapped. Okay?
Yeah.
Because he's a kid.
Yeah.
One of the first things he is asked to do in the Beneathiverse, where the elves live, or the trolls, or whatever they are.
They're gnomes, dude. They're gnomes.
Whatever.
No, it's important because Grand Master of the Gnomes is the ruler of the Beneathiverse.
I'm fantasy racist. They're all the same to me. They make him run on a giant hamster wheel, but the second thing they do is make the 11-year-old boy
dance on a
pole dance.
Yes, I know.
And sexy fun dancing is the phrase they use.
Yeah.
He's fucking 11.
Yeah.
We started this bit about Finn being sexualized much as a joke.
Both of these episodes sexualized.
Now that it's like in our head, oh my god, this show is like there's problems.
It does have. I agree.
English
it has
is
some
good
real problems.
Yeah, and also so that leads to Finn having a fantasy sequence where he breaks out of the chair. And he's got ripped abs and big muscles, and he's got chest hair.
Yeah.
Which made me very uncomfortable.
So I had made a note here that Finn must be going through puberty at this point because he was getting really, really sweaty. But I'm wondering now if his sweatiness was part of the dream sequence, because after the dream sequence, when Jake finally shows up, Finn's union suit isn't all sweaty anymore. But there is a point in there where Finn looks extra sweaty, and I don't think kids sweat that much. Do they?
I don't remember my childhood very much.
Yeah, it was pre-BMO.
Yeah. I mean, things happen.
You remember Thundercats? Transformers? G.I. Joe? He-Man?
Yeah. I don't remember the face of my father, though. I don't know what that is.
It's He-Man. It's the He-Man theme song.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Finn's got chest hair.
Yeah, Finn has chest hair and muscles.
Yeah. Oh, we kind of let's discuss the party in the sky.
Oh God, the Party God. So this is the Party God's first appearance, but it's not his last. Party God is a recurring character, and he is important later on. He's important in this episode too, and he's basically like a giant wolf wearing a trucker cap on backwards with one of his ears coming out of the trucker
Yes.
cap hole.
He looks like a douchey frat guy, and
But he's
I'm
a
there
wolf
for
fan.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm a fan. I like it. I bet you there's a fun story behind the creation of that character, but we're not allowed to know. I wish there was commentary tracks. Apparently there were at some point. We may have discussed this already, but they're hard to find.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that the Adventure Time wiki has the fan wiki might have some information on that, but I didn't look. I just was happy to see Party God, and it was nice to see, because there is an element of Adventure Time that's sort of like more cosmic. We get the Cosmic Owl and Prismo,
Yes.
and even the Lich to some extent, and especially so it's nice seeing that stuff start to show up.
Yeah. We're starting to hit our stride.
Yeah.
I fucked up when I was trying to watch this episode. So I have two profiles on my HBO Max started recently. One is the WizBiz profile and one is my normal profile, and it was on the wrong one. So I started watching episode, 5? But it was season 3 because it was on the other profile because I was just watching random Adventure Time episodes. I'm like, this is too advanced. Like, this doesn't seem like season 2. I'm like, oh, I'm on the wrong fucking episode. So, back the hell out and got to the real one. But yeah, it's funny that you can like
profiles. That's really smart.
I'm not dumb. Like as much as you think I'm a dummy and try to remind me every time we see each other, I have like 3 or 4 still functioning neurons. It just none of which are devoted to memory.
Well, whatever, dummy.
Yeah, I mean fair, except for my HBO Max abilities.
It's a stroke of brilliance, pure genius.
Yeah, it's bound to happen. Dog, sunshine, but
yeah. So Finn, one of the things. So Jake finally realizes that he needs to overcome his ADHD if he's going to find Finn. So Party God grants him a wish because Jake is such an amazing partier. And Jake makes the wish, and then he's like, wait, is there a catch? And the Party God is like, yes, you will be filled with the power of 1,000 partying demons or something like that. So Jake, when he shows up in the Gnome Kingdom, is supercharged.
yeah, he's gacked out.
Yeah.
Let's talk about partying for a second. Jake is ostensibly an adult, especially in dog years.
Yeah.
It brings up the idea. Does Ooh or the Middle Earth, wherever we are right now?
Oh, this place?
Yeah.
You mean like the basement?
No, in the show.
Oh,
I know where we are. I rent this place. Yeah, ooh. Do they not have alcohol?
They must have alcohol because there are candy people all over the place. You leave one of them sitting in a puddle of water and they're going to get alcoholic.
That's true. Because I feel like Jake would be a big beer guy. And it's weird that they're not drinking.
Well, I mean, it is a kid's show.
Yeah, but whatever. Not everybody's Puritan weirdo like
Yeah. Yeah, that
drink
is
it in
interesting.
Europe.
I don't think that alcohol ever shows up on the show.
I don't remember it ever showing up. So, in your face.
Now, there are
alcohol.
red Solo cups. At some point in the show, Jake has a red Solo cup that has a pie on the side.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That just reminded me of that terrible song, and now I'm sad.
What?
There's a song called Red Solo Cup. It's like a modern country song.
Can you sing a few bars?
It's literally Red Solo Cup. I fill you up. Let's have a party.
Wow.
Let's have a party.
That's some highbrow music.
It's honestly one of the worst songs I've ever heard. And I've heard an entire Limp Bizkit album. And I'm saying this is worse than the entirety of Chocolate Starfish and the whatever the fuck that album was called.
What happened? What made you listen to an entire Limp Bizkit album? Were you trapped?
I was in high school at the time.
Oh.
I think I was just in somebody's car.
Oh.
Yeah. It was popular music at the time. We didn't know how bad it was until about, a week later. And you're like, oh yeah, no, this is terrible. I didn't, now that I'm hearing it. So Jake rescues, Finn kind of rescues, no, Finn doesn't rescue himself.
Finn doesn't
he dreams about
rescuing himself, but he's stuck in the imagination machine.
Then Jake shows up, just completely gacks on coke, and destroys the underground Beneath the Verse lair.
And the Upturn Overdrive.
Yeah, the idea of the Upturn Overdrive is they're going to flip the Earth so they're on top for once.
Yeah, basically the gnomes are flat earthers.
Yeah, it's also, there's a lot of, that's not how that would work. And also their idea is they just have some pistons hitting the ceiling
Yeah.
That's how they're going to spin the earth. So, maybe it's like a Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark situation where like it would have solved itself if nobody got involved. It would have been fine.
I gotta say that the Beneathiverse is like super low budget compared to the Nightiverse, though. I mean, it's just a big
Well,
cave.
it's the Nightosphere.
The Nightosphere.
It's got more dimensions.
Right.
'Cause
Oh,
it's a
right.
sphere.
Right.
Yeah.
The Beneathiverse is yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
I
the
feel better.
Beneathiverse is just beneath.
Yeah.
This is a whole fucking sphere.
Yeah. That's true. Very
Yeah.
true.
And then the episode ends up with them with their outro. Let's go eat cinnamon bun.
Yeah, which I love. So Cinnamon Bun, the episode starts, I guess this would have been better if we had talked about the beginning.
Whatever.
Cinnamon Bun does show up at the party on the roof at the beginning and makes fun of Jake for having no focus. And so, yeah, the last line of the episode is, let's go eat Cinnamon Bun,
Yes.
which they do not do.
No, you never know.
Well, we know he shows up later,
Yeah,
but
but they can make another one.
they can
you know.
make another one.
Yeah, I mean they're sentient candy. I'm pretty sure they're replaceable.
So this episode was the first episode with Princess Bubblegum and Marceline. I already mentioned that. The nymphs, the two nymphs that Jake talks to, one of them was voiced by Hynden Welch, who voices PB, and the other one was voiced by Nikki Yang.
Who does BMO? Yeah, that one I recognize.
And guess who played the Grand Master of the Gnomes, ruler of the Beneathiverse?
Grandmaster of the Gnomes, ruler of the Beneathiverse. I feel like that would be a who would be appropriate for that? John Rhys Davies.
Is that just because he played a dwarf?
Yeah.
Is this still just your fantasy racism?
I don't know. I just couldn't think of anybody. It seemed like a good enough guess.
It's Paul Rubens.
Yeah. I should have thought about that. This show is perverted enough for that sicko to come on it.
Yeah. All right. I think it's time for a segment. Is it time for a segment?
I think so.
Hey, Alex, do you have any shiny rocks?
Eric, none of your fucking business.
Share them. Share them with our
All
audience.
right,
Who cares
you
if
talked
it's my
me
business?
into it. Last episode, and probably not last episode, but one of the recent episodes, we shared some terrible jokes on it. And I found, so I was looking up the world's oldest joke, which I told about I forget if I told it on the show, but
I think I told it.
no.
Yeah. Yeah, I beat you to it. I remember that. Because you had told me about it ahead of time, and then I told the joke on the episode before you could tell it. And
Oh,
was
really?
like,
I thought you were telling those weird jokes of like that guy that's like
I did that
terrible.
too.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so the world's oldest joke is, a wife sits on a man's lap. For the first time ever, she doesn't fart. I found another really early example. This is a Sumerian guy walks into a bar joke.
Oh.
So this is somewhere between 4500 and 1900 BC.
Uh-huh.
So big time break. And here's the joke. A dog walked into a tavern and said, I can't see a thing. I'll open this one. No one has any fucking idea what that means. They know it's like some kind of like aphorism joke kind of thing. There's all these theories around what it means, but they're like, it's probably made sense to them, but like, we don't know what it is. So like one of the theories is that taverns were also brothels and that the dog had to close his eyes to walk into the brothel. Which doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's one of the theories. So there's multiple theories about the Sumerian joke, and there's no real answer to it.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad joke.
Well, I don't know. It might be hilarious.
It might be.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to keep it in my back pocket for the next time I time travel.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So either time travel, or if they find like a scroll or a stela or like any kind of tablet, and they're like, oh look, we learned all this new shit about Sumerian civilization. Turns out they thought this about dogs, or dogs were a metaphor for this, or this guy was famous for being blind and he was called Old Canis.
Or a thing has an extra meaning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh dude, that joke, fucking killer. I mean, that's up there with that lady that farted in her husband's lap. So that, and then I do have one traditional shiny rock.
Okay.
Eric, do you know what Oneirodynia is? The first part you can get.
Oneirodynia. It's going to have something to do with dreams. Dream changing?
No. I mean, not like a
dream
a good
power.
Guess. No.
Dream pants? I'm out
so
of guesses.
close.
I'm out of guesses.
It's another word for a poor night's sleep involving things like bad dreams or nightmares.
Oh.
Yeah. So Oneirodynia.
I have a dream. I have a dream to relate. I had a really weird dream the other night.
Well, Oneir yourself.
It did
know
wake
what
me
to
up.
fucking say.
The dream woke me up. So
Okay.
I think I experienced a little bit of Oneirodynia from this. So in this dream, I was part of a team of researchers, and we were on the cusp of some like world-changing, world-saving discovery or technology or something. But we realized that there were these 3 scientists that we needed to consult who had the information that we needed to finish our project, but they were all dead. So we first figured out a way to get into the underworld, and then we figured out a way to counteract the effects of the River Leith, which erases your memory. So we crossed into the underworld, and we went to find these scientists and give them this concoction that could reverse the River Leith so that they could come back and help us.
I mean, yeah, I think if you're good enough to like figure out a way to like go into the underworld while still alive, you got that shit sorted already. You got plenty of minds
Except
in that
the
room.
problem was, what we didn't realize is that sometimes when we administered the cure, it caused the shade to go insane.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it
that'll
got
happen.
a little
Yeah.
weird and crazy. And yeah, it was a really strange and very intense dream. And there was another part of the dream that I'm not going to share because I think it might have had a secret meaning for me.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I know. It was a good one too. So, but it was a crazy dream. Like the mix of like averting disaster through science and then being like, "Oh, but we must cross into the underworld and rescue some scientists."
I would not to make this a dream episode, but I'm going to tell you a very quick dream I had the other night.
Uh-huh.
There was a show called The Last of Us. I don't know if you watched it.
I know of it, but I have not watched it. And yes, you've told me about it many times.
Episode 2 or 3, it features, it's a kind of a bottle episode where it's, spoiler alert for Last of Us if you haven't watched it yet, but it's a bottle episode where like these 2 guys fall in love and you kind of follow their story for a few years.
Uh-huh.
I had a dream, like basically that episode, but with me and a lady that I meet. That in Lads, that I was walking around after everybody had died from a very quick acting plague. So like there was no like looting or anything. So all the stores were like chock full of food and like, so
Uh-huh.
the episode was like this prep thing of like us meeting, be like, hey, the line I remember that I found fun was she had a gun pulled on me and I said, no, I'm carrying a book. It's cool. That somehow that would talk her out of it because I had a book in my back pocket.
Uh-huh.
And that works. And then we kind of fell in love and it was like this long dream of like, we're restarting civilization in Portland. Like we took over one of the mansions by Laurelhurst Park because there's plenty of grass there and we were going to till it into fields and restart humanity.
And did you live to a ripe old age, have lots of children, and then die? Did you basically have Finn in the Pillowverse?
No, you didn't get that far, but like that's definitely where it's leading. We definitely had like the house, or maybe we were prepping to go to the house, and we already gotten seeds and stuff. Like we'd done all the work,
Mm-hmm.
and then either the dream ended or I don't remember the last of it. But the point is, I've now gotten the Alex is very lonely quotient out of the way. It has to every episode. I have to bring up some reference to how I'm lonely, and now it's done. Check off the list.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, in this dream world, did you happen to see your BMO?
No, and I can tell you why though. This had taken place a couple days after the plague had killed pretty much everyone,
Uh-huh.
and I only ran into my apartment to grab some like important ephemera for my life that I don't want to be gone forever because upstairs person would have been dead for a few days. I'm like, it's gonna be whiffy in there. Like no one wants to be in the apartment.
Although you can burn incense then.
It's true, but there's not enough incense in the world for that to. So no, I wasn't here for long enough to look for BMO. If ever I have a dream again, I'm seeding the thought now
Okay.
to look for BMO in the astral dream realm,
That
in the
is
Oniroverse.
true Oniromancy.
Yeah, and maybe I can find it, and then I can be reunited with my delightful little child. Maybe I need to get like they've got those adorable big stuffed toy baby Yodas.
Uh-huh.
Pardon me, Grogu's.
Do
Maybe
you
I
need
need like
a big BMO?
maybe
Like a plushy BMO?
because I was trying to
'Cause I
find
don't
a way.
think BMO would ever be cuddly.
Yeah, I was just trying to find a way to like make my life more pathetic, and I think like a stuffed toy BMO that I sleep with would really complete the downward spiral I'm on.
Do you want to get like one of those body pillows that's got BMO on it?
I didn't until you mentioned it, and now I
But
do.
now you do.
Yeah, now that's actually
You could have a
all I
bunch of
want.
BMOs probably on a body pillow.
No, I think there's like a monogamy thing. I'm interested with BMO.
Just one BMO.
yeah,
One BMO's enough.
one BMO's enough. Yeah, after that, it's just you're being like a BMO orgy. No,
Well, you could have BMO, and then if you flipped it over, it could be football.
Okay, I can have two then. Yeah, okay. Bimo and football would be totally fine. Speaking of everything that isn't this, crystals have power.
Wow. Do crystals ever have power? So first of all, Finn and Jake have a holobook,
Yes.
which is friggin' amazing. So that when the episode opens, like Finn has had this weird giant pink crystal thing delivered to him, and it's got like a lipstick mark on it, and he's looking through the holobook to see if he can identify the crystal. And we learn right away that this is somehow related to tree trunks, and then also Jake decides that he wants to be a pacifist because he beats up Finn.
Yes. And a very older brother wrestling with younger brother getting injured thing.
Yeah.
As someone with two older brothers, I know this well.
Mhm.
I was beaten to within an inch of my life many times. That's not true at all. But yeah.
But it is why you're in Oregon now.
Being accidentally injured by a brother. No, I did lose a front tooth to a brother and had my head smashed open twice. But totally like just roughhousing gone awry.
Yeah. I mean, I think I probably did that to my little brother too.
Yeah, but he deserved it. Smug little prick.
I'm not going to say that about him. He was never a smug little prick.
I met your brother once as an adult. I have
I
literally
think
no
it's
bounds to
probably
make this statement.
way more fair to say that I was a sarcastic asshole who knew how to push his buttons, and it just made him angry a lot.
Yeah, but now he's taller than you, so you got to be nice.
Oh no, I still have sarcasm power.
Oh, I'm gonna teach him how to punch.
Don't.
He's
He's got really long arms.
Yeah, I'm gonna get your brother to punch you in the mush just once.
I don't want this to happen.
No, I'll make you take your glasses off first. Don't worry. Yeah, so there's a crystal, and there's a very awkward sequence where Jake proposes to do a tough guy contest,
Mm-hmm.
and then does like a stereotypical gay voice, and he just like tough guys.
Oh yeah. I
That
saw
was-
that too.
Interesting.
Yeah, and maybe a little wrong, but also this episode aired in 2010, and
I think 2010, we had probably gotten past limping your wrist and doing a
suspect
voice.
that I don't know that we had. That was 13 years ago.
Yeah, but 2010, I mean, you could be right. But I feel like we were like aware, because I remember, oh no, that was more like 2013, because I remember when I became aware of the fact that we're using gay as a pejorative. Like, remember there was that brief time span where like, oh, that's so gay, meaning like, oh, that's so stupid or whatever.
Yeah,
was
but
like,
I think that was like in the 90s.
no, but what I mean is there was like this awareness campaign that happened in the early, probably 2012-ish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so 2010. Okay, yeah, all right. So yeah, Jake's horrific homophobia. Well, wait a second. Now that I think about it, Finn's the only human on the planet,
Yeah.
and he's ostensibly like cis hetero.
Yeah. There's no way for him to be.
Can there be homophobia in that case?
I don't think there can.
Because there's no homosexuals.
Yeah.
This is an interesting theory here. I'm not giving anybody any ideas.
Aren't you?
Yeah, I guess so. So if there's any like kind of genocidists out there, we're not for that idea. Like for anybody. Like I don't even know like what you want to genocide against. Like just don't do any genocides. That's my public service announcement for this episode.
Maybe we should just fast forward to the part where Finn gets sexualized, which is most of the episode. So Jake, after beating Finn up, decides to become a pacifist, and pretty much right at that moment, or shortly thereafter, like the next day, this portal opens up in their living room. These weird crystal guardians come out, grab Finn, drag him through, and Jake luckily follows, but they end up in the Crystal Universe,
Yes.
which is ruled over by Quartzion, the Crystal Queen, who we discover is the audience ready for this?
Hey, audience, you ready for this?
Tree Trunks. Tree Trunks lives.
returns. Yes,
So the last time we saw Tree Trunks, she'd exploded when she ate the crystal apple in the middle of the forest.
indeed.
Remember, and we loved that episode. We talked about that episode for a long time.
We did. I think a lot of that episode was actually me talking about how I don't like tree trunks, though.
Yeah, Tree Trunks is a little annoying, but it
Yeah.
is good to see that she's alive again.
Yeah, I'm glad for most of my tree trunks annoyance comes later when there's like full episodes of like her talking to a fucking pig, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh god,
Yeah.
just anything but this.
Well, we'll get to those.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so Tree Trunks is different though. She's flying and glowing, and her stomach is red, and she's got big rubies for eyes. And so Jake goes through this whole thing where he tries to, and she wants to change Finn into a crystal person so that
they can basically fuck forever.
right.
And
Yeah.
keep in mind, Finn's 11.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's gross. It's gross.
Well, I was talking to the audience. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think the audience.
Do they though?
Well, they probably figured it out by now.
Yeah, I mean, we do harp on about just about every episode. And
We
by
do.
we, I mean Alex.
So eventually Jake overcomes his pacifism.
Oh, wait. Before he overcomes his pacifism, we need to talk about his dream sequences. So his father, Yeshua, Joshua, for you, Goyim, is speaking to him, and Jake is remembering his wisdom of the past. His wisdom of the past is, just punch everybody. Just punch everybody, Jake. And then he, one of his great lines is, having no self-control makes you a tough galoot like me, which is, I love his mid-Atlantic accent. But the important thing I want to bring up, Jake's brother shows up in the dream
This
sequence.
is the first time. We never knew.
Yeah, we didn't know he had a brother.
We didn't know Jermaine existed before this.
But interesting about this, though. Jake says, are you dead? And he's like, no, we're just having the same dream. Jermaine's voice is not Jermaine's voice.
Yeah.
It is a, what I would call a jive accent. There is an African-American vernacular English quality to it. And the name Jermaine is certainly related to that. There's a lot of this stuff I didn't notice upon first and second watching because I'm not paying attention to the show. Just like,
Right.
But yeah, maybe this show is a little problematic. Like there's some shit that like, I guess now that I'm like watching it for like shit to talk about, it's like, oh, all right. So you're sexualizing an 11-year-old. You've got stereotypical, like, black scent. Yeah, this is, okay.
All
Let's
right.
get back to,
I mean, that's a problem.
Adventure time. Come on, grab your friends. This is, everything's happy.
Yeah, so but it turns out that again it's an ADHD problem. Jake just wasn't listening to everything his father
Oh, they're
said.
talking about me.
Oh no, I'm sure you probably have them too.
Yeah, I definitely do.
But it turns out that Jake wasn't listening to everything his father said. So his father's spirit or dream or whatever is like, like it's like, no, you didn't listen to the whole thing, and I can't remember what the whole.
He
quote
says
was.
you got to punch everybody,
But only the bad guys.
but only the bad guys.
So that snaps Jake out of it. He goes bonkers and goes into fight Quartzy on the Crystal Queen, which leads to some really great lines like, don't you put your junk on my trunk?
Yes.
And Finn, I can't defeat her. She's too sassy and powerful, which I loved. That would make me laugh a lot. And then the creepiest of lines is when it becomes obvious that Jake's going to have a tough time defeating the Crystal Queen. She goes up to Finn, who has now been completely encased in crystal, and says, "Marry me, Finn. We can snuggle through time and space
Yeah.
and kiss each other in an alternate dimension."
It is problematic. I don't
It's-
like it.
Yep, me neither.
Because the thing about Tree Trunks is that
She's old.
yeah, she's written as old. And I know we've talked about how old Lady Princess, maybe
This is
she was born
weirder
old,
than-
and she's only 11.
Yeah.
Like, so maybe Tree Trunks is 11, and she was just born as an old lady elephant.
But we see her backstory later on. We know that she's old. We know that she's gone
Yeah.
through multiple marriages.
That's
and she's
true.
had a long,
So it's
full
just
life.
it's just
Like,
gross.
it's
It's
gross.
just straight up gross. This show's disgusting, and we're gonna do that next week with
With more.
Steven Universe Biz with Alex and Eric. We discuss all the hearts of Steven Universe, a show that doesn't feature ancient elephants trying to fuck an 11-year-old. That would be fair. She does say snuggle, so
She does. And, I think also to be fair, none of these otherworldly creatures and magical beings realize how humans work. So they don't really know that Finn isn't of the age of consent.
oh yeah, that's a really good point. It seems like they're all like adults kind of quickly. They're almost
Yeah.
born into their adult form.
Yeah, especially
Maybe-
like candy people, like even Tree
Yeah.
Trunks. Like, Finn's been around for 11 years.
So maybe-
Jake's already got kids.
So maybe they don't know that Finn's not in his final form. They just think
Yeah.
adult humans look like that. Interesting. This does actually solve some of the gross problems.
It does. It
Of
does.
that if the assumption is, no, he is a final form adult. That's just the way they look because no one knows what a human looks like.
Right.
The other thing we can talk about it in later episodes, but is it incumbent on Finn to try to reproduce, being the last of his species, like trying to find like a mutated person that like is still, close enough in, genetics to try to,
No, I don't think it is. I think this might be the end of humans.
that's a little sad.
Is it?
I don't know. We're funny. We make cartoons. It's good
That's
times.
true. That's true. Yeah. I guess we will never know. We will never know.
Well, we could kidnap Pendleton Ward and I can torture him using screws.
Oh, right. Do you still have the screws?
I think I didn't. Well, I removed 2 before she left. So yeah, I still have a few. Yeah. I wish before I got on that torture thing, I would have changed the pronoun to he, because although it's both reprehensible and disgusting, I feel like imaginary torturing a dude is like less horrible.
That's really sexist.
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I guess I'm a little sexist, because I feel like if I'm going to torture someone, I'd rather torture a dude.
Well, I mean, that's just a preference. But saying that torturing a dude is more reprehensible than torturing a non-dude is probably sexist.
Yeah, but it's like good sexist.
Is it?
It's
I mean,
it's like charming sexist.
I don't know. As a dude, I don't necessarily want to feel like I am more deserving of torture.
All right, so Eric's on record. He wants to torture women.
I
Cool.
don't want to torture women.
On
I don't want to
record.
torture anybody.
Yeah, well, all right, says you. I have nothing else about this episode.
Oh, well, I mean, we should mention that, like,
should
bringing Tree Trunks back makes this an important core episode, right? Like, this is definitely part of
Yeah,
the overall plot of Adventure Time, because Tree Trunks is a really, really important character.
truth.
We'll see. There are some annoying Tree Trunks backstory episodes at some point, but Tree Trunks is really, really pivotal in the
Lich story.
the Lich
Yeah.
story, and we're gonna see that. So she does take a more prominent role as the seasons go on, and we'll see. So listener, you guys should be happy that Tree Trunks are back. But yeah, so Jake does end up saving the day. He kicks the crystal apple out of Tree Trunks, turns her back into an elephant, and she apologizes for all the things she said. Does make one more sassy comment, but then everybody gets apple pie in the end.
Yeah, you're right. She does play an important role, but I think my annoyance at her never really goes away. I find it to be a...
I agree with you about the annoyance thing.
Yeah. And the fact that, so later in the show, people at home, if you haven't watched them, she marries a pig.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Pig.
and
His name is only Mr. Pig.
And he's not a particularly interesting character either.
Ugh.
So there's just swaths of just like two uninteresting characters that are borderline annoying interacting with each other. And anyway, we'll save that annoyance for 4 seasons down the line or whatever the fuck it is. Probably next season, actually.
All right. Well, I do have some trivia about this episode.
I would love to hear the 3 ways of this episode.
Okay, so Tree Trunks is voiced by Polly Lou Livingston, who passed away in 2021, and she was like 90-something years old.
Yes.
So she was an old lady, even when she voiced Tree Trunks.
Yeah, we were talking about that the first episode where she was Pendleton Ward's mom's friend.
Oh, that's right.
And that's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
her regular voice.
Yeah, that's just your regular voice.
I don't know if we talked about that in the episode or that was like you and I at a bar, but either way, yes.
Yeah. So anyhow, this was all, like we mentioned, this is the first mention of Jermaine. This is the first time we learned that Jermaine exists. This is also the first time that it's confirmed that Joshua, who's Finn and Jake's dad, is actually dead. Like they'd hinted at it and stuff, but this is the first time they really confirmed that Joshua's dead. This is also the first episode storyboarded by Jesse Moynihan, who is who's one of my favorite Adventure Time behind the scenes storyboard artist people. So that was kind of exciting to learn.
Jesse Moynihan, I believe, is the one that designs Golb and Glob and the weird, weird Martian people.
He's basically I think one of the people who really starts bringing a lot of the occult influences into Adventure Time, because he's a practicing occultist, and he's got a ongoing weird occult webcomic and a blog, and he's designing a tarot deck and all that kind of stuff. He's a weirdo, and I've heard some really, really amazing interviews with him too. So he's somebody worth checking out. He's one of the occult influencers of Adventure Time for sure.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Eric, do you have another segment for us?
I do.
Ooh, I would like to hear it.
I would like to tell a story. It's short.
All right, I'll allow it.
It's about music.
About music.
Yeah, I've been trying to learn how to play blues piano. I don't know if I've mentioned that on the show recently, but blues piano is hard for me. So I learned how to play classical piano originally, and blues sort of breaks that. It breaks a lot of assumptions and changes a lot of things. And getting to a point where I was sort of comfortable playing it, it's taken a lot of practice. But yesterday I played the organ at a Masonic Lodge event, and I played the blues organ.
Oh, really?
And people afterwards like, "Oh yeah, that was great. Like we liked how you had the whole blues stuff going on." I was like, "Yes." And the only reason I was able to do it, so I can't play left and right hand blues stuff at the same time yet. I can do one or the other because it's tricky. I'm getting there. It's going to take a lot more practice. But the organ I was using had a thing called a magic genie, where you could just, if you turned that on, you could just hold down one note and it would like play whole chords and stuff for you. So that really helped.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
fancy.
Yeah, so I could do that with my left hand, and then I could do blues improv with my right hand, and it was successful. I successfully did blues improv on an organ. I felt like a 70s rock star.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Yeah. All right, so you heard it home. Eric blew an organ yesterday.
Totally. That's kind of my only segment. I didn't bring any show and I don't have any show and tell. I don't have any other exciting stuff. So maybe we're just gonna make up for the last episode being 3 hours long by having this.
I think
one.
that's 2 episodes ago. The last episode I think is long too. I do have a small.
Oh, you have a segment.
Well, what are you reading? What are you imbibing? What are you et ceteraing?
Ooh.
I'm continuing my Stephen King thing because I ended the Dark Tower books, and it's the worst ending I've ever read in anything. If you could somehow coalesce all the dog shit that's ever happened in the universe and compress it to like almost like a singularity, like a black hole. And then that black hole starts sucking in every single bad idea for a finale, from like Lost to, shows that don't have any kind of ending, to that kid that looks at the snow globe, but it turns out that's actually the end of the show. That singularity explodes into a brand new universe, and that universe creates the end of the Dark Tower books, because it is fucking terrible.
Oh my God.
It's terrible on like many levels. I don't want to like get like too into it, but as someone that writes, the ending was that thing that you say, I don't know, it can end like this. Before you finished any of the books, like you just go, it's probably the end like that. And just kind of like before first draft. And that motherfucker did that as the final draft. That was the end of it. This just, ugh. So anyway, finish that.
Okay.
And I bitched about it on Twitter. And there was a response on Twitter at Alex Bolin, Alex with 2 X's, said, well, this can't, you must mean that The Stand is an exception to this, the endings of Stephen King books sucking. I'm like, well, I've never read The Stand. I do like Stephen King's storytelling for the most part. His writing's iffy, but he tells a good story, good ideas. He just doesn't know how to end it. I'm like, all right, I'll try The Stand. I started The Stand the other day. So now I've read the 7 books of the Dark Tower trilogy of the series, The Shining, and now The Stand. Everyone but one has used the N-word. I've
What
said this
in the hell?
because The Stand has
What
it
in the hell is
too.
going
I
on,
don't-
Stephen King?
So I was like, there's no fucking way that, because I was thinking this is just a weird sample set. Because like the one thing is a character as a black woman that grew up like in the pre-segregation times in America.
Okay.
So it's like her referencing what was said to her. It works with the character. I get it.
Okay.
Acceptable. The Shining is a racist ghost. Fine. But yeah, this is just, man, stop saying that, Stephen King. What the fuck?
Yeah, you don't even need it. You don't even need it in order to get across the idea that a character is racist.
Yeah, it was just
Even shockingly racist.
yeah. So I'm gonna finish the book because I heard the ending's good from one guy on Twitter that I don't know. But I'm gonna in the back of my head, I'm very sus about Stephen King.
Yeah,
'cause,
yeah, that is sus.
Yeah, he keeps using the N-word in every book I've read, except for
can't-
one. And honestly, I think that one book, I'm pretty sure he used it in there too, and I just missed it.
I have been watching 2 Star Wars things: the new episode of the new season of The Mandalorian and the new season of Bad Batch. Both are really excellent, really fun.
I agree with The Mandalorian. I thought this season The Bad Batch has been a little spotty.
Oh, really? I've been enjoying it a lot.
It's fine. I just
It's got some development. I had some feelings. It made me have feelings
Okay.
a little bit.
Alright. Yeah, I don't have those.
Yeah, I know. But one of the things I'm enjoying about The Mandalorian is how much Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah, Katie
Because
Sackhoff's kind of
she's
great.
incredible.
Yeah, she's I'm a fan.
Yeah,
She-
she's basically like a male Dirk Benedict.
I don't know who that is.
Dirk Benedict played the face in the original A-Team, and he
Oh,
played
that guy.
the
yeah.
original.
I knew that name sounded familiar.
Battlestar Galactica dude.
Starbuck?
Starbuck. He was the original Starbuck.
Oh, okay.
It was a joke. That was a joke about Starbuck.
And that joke was fine.
And it would have been better
it would have
if
been
you
if I knew
if you were better at your pop culture
exactly.
references.
If I was a little stronger on 70s pop culture, I would have.
80s, that's 80. Oh, God.
I'm pretty sure that's 70s.
All right, fine. You know what? No, it was very early 80s. I think it might have started in 79, but it went through like 84.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was 4 when it
Because
ended.
it was after the A-Team happened. It
was after the 18 was later in the 80s. Who cares? The point is, all right, stop singing the 18, but let's end this episode.
No. I mean, A-Team happened after Battlestar Galactica
Oh, got it.
ended.
Yeah. I like both those shows. I'm enjoying Bad Batch season 3 or whatever season it is, but it's just there's a couple. I don't know. I kind of want the plot to like get a little snappier.
I do too. I think that they've got. Yeah, I guess it could get a little snappier. I think that there's a lot of. I think they're trying to shift the direction. But
Yeah.
The animation is amazing, though.
Yeah, the animation is definitely getting a lot better. And yeah, Mandalorian season 3, I'm enjoying. I like how it's getting a little more larger in scope and in plot, and yeah, good stuff. So I agree with that. The other thing I'm watching, because I'm watching both of those as well, or I should say the other thing I watched Stephen King's. Jesus fuck, Alex, you brain dead piece of shit.
I didn't say that.
I did. I watched Steven Spielberg's
Oh,
AI, Artificial Intelligence.
Oh God.
With Haley Joel Osment. I realized that I'd never seen the whole movie because there was
And then did you realize why?
No, because it was on cable all the time, so I'd seen a whole bunch, and I thought I'd seen the whole thing. A lot darker of a movie than I thought it was going to be. A lot better of a movie than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like 90s schlock. But the thing that my main takeaway, because I'm an idiot and only care about dumb things. The end of the movie, spoiler alert for a 30-year-old movie, is 2,000 years in the future. New York has been both flooded and now frozen over. And you can see the hand of the Statue of Liberty reaching out from under the ice. And the
Are there
top of the
8
Chrysler
people?
building. No. The top of the Chrysler building, the top of another building, and the 2 tops of the Twin Towers. Because the movie was made pre-2001. I'm like, ooh, that is... Yeah,
Hey.
I get you can't predict the future, but yikes, that is...
Yeah.
Because they are like center. Like, it's not... There's no like, oh, I wonder what those 2 buildings are. Like, and his motherfucker is like that under the Twin Towers. Yeah. But, AI was actually pretty fun. Like, I didn't realize... I forgot how short the kind of domestic part at the front was. I remember that being like almost the whole movie, but it's not. Like the whole movie is him and Jude Law, basically. And then there's that part at the end with like the future robots is like 20 minutes. I remember that being like a minute and a half, but it's like a whole fucking act. Yeah.
God, I've only seen that movie once.
I'm not saying like go back and watch it, but like
I'm not going to. I don't
found
think I'm
it.
going to.
I actually found it a rewarding experience.
Yeah. The other thing that I've been doing, my roommate and I have been sort of really slowly doing a kind of rewatch of Supernatural.
Supernatural.
Yeah, with the Winchester brothers.
Oh yeah.
It's a pretty consistently good show. I really enjoy it. It's like it's basically Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But
yeah, a little more dudes rock.
A little bit more dudes rock than Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I watched the first bunch of seasons and I enjoyed it. But at some point it lost my interest. And
yeah, same here.
I heard that it gets better after that point because there's some season that people kind of agree that it's like, they kind of went off the rails a little bit. And apparently it improves after that. But there's like 15 seasons or some shit. Like there's so many
ridiculous.
fucking episodes. It's like,
yeah, I mean, we're watching season 2 and I can't imagine that my rewatch is going to make it all the way through because I never finished watching it. I think I did last a long time. I think until like season 10 or something, but I gave up on it.
I think you gave up a little after me because I got to, I don't know, 7 or somewhere in there. When they meet God and it's Booger from Revenge of the Nerds, Curtis Armstrong, I think his
that's
name
not
is.
God. That's Metatron.
Oh, Metatron. Sorry.
Yeah.
Around there. Oh, yeah, God's the other. Yeah, but anyway, they get to around there.
Okay.
Where it's just like they start, and then they just like, kind of start like repeating their old plots of like, well, it turns out the guy we put in hell 2 seasons ago is going to break out. And now our secret lost brother is going to just like,
oh no, one of you is damned and one of you has to save the other one. Oh no, now the other one is damned and you got to save that one.
It's literally just like, they're just going through the early seasons. Kind of
they've already started doing that, right? They've already started doing the thing where it's like, oh no, this brother died and now you got to bring him back from hell. Oh no, now the other brother's dead.
It's yeah, but I enjoyed that show for a while.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's the episode. We already gave a call to arms.
Let's do it again. I'll do it again.
You do it again.
All right. Tell a friend about our podcast, please. We need to, if we're going to spread the word, it's on you, dear listener, our lovely, lovely listener. Let us massage the insides of your ears and also massage the insides of the ears of your pals. Talk about this at the next happy hour. Call your mom and tell her about this. Call your niece and or nephew and or younger sibling or maybe older sibling and tell them about this great podcast with, two weird dudes in a basement in Portland talking about a cartoon show for kids.
Okay. And on that note, I would like to thank the people on Twitter that do retweet our stuff every episode. I'm not going to name them by name because I don't remember two of them and then I feel bad. But there are people that consistently retweet our stuff.
Thank you so much.
And we very much appreciate it. You're the best. The other thing you could do to help our show, though,
is to send Alex a BMO.
Oh yeah, send me a BMO. I forgot about that. What I was going to say is
like a body
try to get your Twitter audience to be bigger too. So if you get a bunch of Twitter followers and then tweet about our show, that'd be great too. Because that's also helping you. I mean, this is a win-win situation. All right, we're done. All right, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Auf Wiedersehen, meine Champions. Mwah. Mwah.